What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to Powered by Primus. And in today's video, we're going to be doing Devastator versus Devastator. Now, my list that I'm running is a heavy orange, and I'm going up against a heavy blue list. Now, I'm going to dive far more into the reason why I'm doing this very specific matchup when it comes to me doing the next installment of the How to Get Better at the Transformers TCG episodes. But essentially, I am playtesting this very specifically, and it's because I want to see how the matchup goes. I'm really trying to see if the heavy orange is really powerful enough to do a lot of damage, but I'm also interested in how the Constructicons are going to do being able to run heavy blue, and even if my small amount of damage is going to be enough to KO them, because if it is, then I'm definitely going to be ruling out heavy blue as an option for them, and then it's just going to be a mixed list, or it's going to be a heavy orange list. But anyway, like I said, I'll get into all of those things specifically later on with that playtesting video.
First, draw a card.
Now, I am going to be casting over this gameplay as well, but the one thing that I wanted to tell you guys about the Devastator list is that it does require a lot of intricacies. Now, the first thing you definitely want to do is what you guys just saw there is flip Scrapper on that turn. It's because just in case one of your other characters is KO'd, you want to be able to get that high counter. The next thing is that it does come into your KO area with one high counter on top of it, and then the next thing that you need to remember is that when one of your characters attacks, you have the ability to scrap and put a high counter on, and I obviously highly recommend it. Your really real goal with this deck is to really try to get to that high counter at 10. Now, I have seen that you have been able to get it to 6 or 7 and then be able to at least get the bold 2 off of it and then kind of help get it the rest of the way there via the enigmas and stuff, but for me, it is definitely a far safer thing to try to get to that 10 before you combine. Being able to heal more is always fantastic when you do combine, and then obviously going from 6 to 10 is a huge deal. Now, my characters being able to survive in this matchup against my opponent is going to really put him in a bad spot. Me being able to possibly attack with the character twice, getting an additional height counter, or him having to waste 2 attacks into one character is also going to be really difficult. The other thing, though, that does benefit him and is a little tougher to the Constructicon deck is that if your characters aren't being KO'd, then you're not getting the height counters off of that. Now, eventually they will be KO'd, so obviously the longer that you can last, the better it's going to be. Plus, you may have less damage carrying over once you make Devastator, but obviously missing out on those high counters is going to make a huge difference because your goal, again, is to get to that 10. Now I'm going to play an Erratic Lightning here. It's really good in the list. It gives you the +3 attack, which is really nice, and the -1 armor doesn't make a huge difference. Seeing as how most of these characters are going to be getting one-shot anyway, it just helps your opponent one-shot them, but giving you that +3 attack is super nice.
7, 6, 5, 4. It's a 4 on the nose. He's dead. Alright. He got mixed. Okay. Let's see. We're going to flip for the turn.
Now, the one thing that you guys did see my opponent there do is what I recommend to do as far as when it comes to the sequencing, as far as attacking and flipping with your characters, is I usually attack with the character in alt mode, be able to scrap the card, obviously, and then on that next turn, flip that character that did attack in alt mode back to bot mode. That way you're able to get to your point of being able to combine but not missing out on those towers. You rarely really want to be attacking with the character in bot mode unless you don't have a card to be able to scrap for the high counter. The other thing to look at is that one of the characters does have Pierce 2, so if you are looking to finish off a character, especially in the heavier orange list, then that is definitely a really good option. And then there also is another character that has bold 1, and obviously in the heavy orange list that allows you to flip 1 more additional card, which can be really nice on the attack side of things.
I take 3. Okay. Draw. Okay. We're gonna do 6. It's base, man. They're killing me here.
No change. Oh, really?
There.
Yes.
Now, I was just talking about it a second ago on how you usually always want to be attacking with the character in the other mode, but because I am playing the builder's tools there when I do attack, it allows me to still get that height counter and I am going for the bold. My goal with this list is to always be playing an upgrade on the turn to be able to maximize how much damage I do, but on top of that, you really do want to be dumping your hand to be able to get those effects for the height counters and then also for work overtime, which allows you to draw so many cards. But in this matchup specifically, my goal is to try to KO one of his characters every single attack.
I get another counter for attacking. Trigger.
Because builder's tool, bruh.
Bruh. We're building the tower.
Building the tower, bruh.
Now, one thing I wanted to tell you guys about right here specifically is a moment that I have when I play a lot of games where I'm really starting to understand what my opponent is doing. And right now he was going through his scrap pile, which makes me think that he's either counting to see how many left of a green battle icon card he has left in his deck, or the other thought with this matchup specifically is that this list does contain Reclaim. Reclaim allows you to put an upgrade from your scrap pile on top of your deck, and then if you have 3 or more height counters, draw that card. And then he does get to go and look through it again, which definitely puts me really high on thinking that he has Reclaim, so he's looking for something in the scrap pile that's going to really be able to help him, and that helps me at least narrow one card down that is in his hand.
Alright, so
Now, see, it didn't make much of a huge difference here because I was correct, but I really can't react to it, so there's not much I can do. But it does help to know that I know that that card was in his hand, and that's just one thing to look for in the future. If he would have not played the Reclaim that turn, I still would have been able to put it on him. And then if I did have things such as Espionage, there's easier cards to be able to target and go for it.
okay. 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 Have I flipped for the turn? No, I have not.
And now he's dead. I'd be so mad if he actually survived. From a story standpoint, it would be
Let's go long haul into the master of the mixing.
Yup.
Scrap card. Throw on a counter. And 1, 2. Ooh. 1, 2.
This is all fucked.
So 2.
Now, if you guys did watch my previous video where I talked about building this deck, I did put those one-shell stands in there, and this was my very first game playing with it, and I did talk about in that video how you want to just playtest a bunch to see if cards end up working or not working based on certain matchups, and I ended up cutting those cards out. I really like them in the matchup of building against like Scrapnel or some of the other characters out there to be able to finish some off, especially like in the Superion list and some other stuff, but ultimately I just really haven't been able to get the value out of it, and the no pip does hurt a little bit, but because I'm always pitching them, I've rarely ever played them to where they're ever been that useful. Plus, going against 6 wide, even if I happen to go up against a Scrapnel, it's really not that bad to have to send 2 attacks into it, so it's okay if I don't play the one-shell stands in that matchup specifically, so I did end up cutting them from the list.
Because I just want light on this. I need land. Yes! Land is love, treasure hunt is life. Ooh, treasure hunt. Ooh. Ooh, that's no bueno. I don't like any of those. Sure don't.
Alrighty.
The other one. No, because he's not strong. He has to be strong. I wish.
Okay.
We'll go there.
I like it.
We're gonna go into long haul.
Okie dokie.
Scrap a bashing shield. Alright, so there is 7, 8, 9, 10.
Ow. Okay. 1, 2, 1. That sucks. 2. That sucks. Okay. What was it? 10?
10.
Woo, he did. Okay. Alrighty then. Your go. Okay. Alright. Draw for the turn. Draw for data bank. Let's see here. I'm going to flip. Turn. Alright, so reclaim. Builder's tools. Yup. Draw. Well, okay.
Now, the one thing that I will talk about when it comes to the card Reclaim itself is, as much as I'm really not that much of a fan of it in the Devastator deck, I do run it in many other decks, though wink wink at my Starscream, but with this list specifically, I think one of the best things to do for it is to be able to get back upgrades that go away at end of turn, such as cards like Grenade Launcher or Power Punch if you're really trying to go for that, which is super, super nice. The Builder tools is okay, and if also really, you know, not that bad. Force Fields are always really good ones if you want to go for it, but what you want to be able to do is play it on the turn that you happen to go for it, or else it's kind of a slow card.
3, take 2.
That's why I'm so happy about
Draw.
because bring up oil, I will have everyone in I'll pump up Dominant to 6.
5 to him. 5 to him.
3 mana.
So there we're looking at 5.
Oh yeah. Double red. Let's go ahead and blaze.
Let's reckless charge. Okay. Flip. There you go. And we'll throw Hook into the Bone Crusher. So 6, 1, 7, 8. Woo. Okay. Nice. Really? Alright, well, ow. So how much was it? 8. 8. 7, 6, he's dead. Okay. Golly. 1, 2. Not gonna lie, I thought it'd be surviving a lot more of your attacks than this. But it is what it is. Conversion. That's good. And then Hook. Into Hook. Okay. 1, 2, 1. And wow, good.
Take out just cards.
2.
Is the card left? Is the mill happening? Yeah, he's got it. Okay.
Hi, that's a lot of board. I'm running 14 cards on my side.
Go for it.
Final answer. Okay. Draw. Draw. Flip. Flippity doo. Builders. Let's go into 5-4. Let's go into no. 2. I don't think we're gonna be able to kill either. But I don't know what it is. Let's go into Hook. Hook it is. Attack. Get 1.
Now that's one thing there I was talking about previously with making sure that you guys remember to scrap the card when it comes to attacking. Now I don't know if I specifically wanted to be able to hold the 2 cards back into my hand or if I just straight up forgot to do it, which is entirely a possibility. But the other thing about it, like I did say, is to always make sure that you take your turn a little bit slow. One thing that I've always found always to be really helpful, especially when it comes to card games, you'll see lots of players do it, is that if there is a trigger that you need to remember before touching your deck, it's always really nice just to put one dice on top of your deck. It's one thing that I do in a lot of my matches if I am playing very something specific that requires me to do something before I touch my deck, and it just reminds me as a player that I need to do something before that happens.
So 3 triggers of red, so we'll be at 10. 2 1 1.
Yeah, I'd be silly not to. Okay. Enigma.
Yep.
Now here becomes a really interesting point in the game, and I don't really know how this is supposed to pan out. The benefit to it is that here he is really behind as far as the damage done to my characters, and I'm pretty high on my height counters. So I honestly think that this is going to come down to a Devastator versus Devastator match. Now like I said, again, the disadvantage is that he will get to attack first, and then he'll only be able to kill off one of my little guys, not dealing a whole lot of damage, and then I'll be able to get a lot of damage back into his character, which is hopefully going to turn into chip damage, or once I even end up combining myself, I'm just going to be at a way lower health, and obviously I'm dealing way more attack because I have a heavy orange list, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see how this pans out, especially since if you guys were paying attention earlier, I definitely saw an inverted on my opponent's side of the field, which obviously turns all those blues into oranges.
Okay. Now. How much does he have on him?
11 damage.
Okay. I have one of these. Okay. So. We're gonna go into who has the most health. Long haul.
Yup.
4, 6. 1, 2 for flip, and then bolt 2.
Take 5.
Take 5. How are you still? Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. He's fine. He's fine. Got it. Okay.
My question is, do I crack back India here?
You'll also get plus 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, tomorrow. 6, 7, 8.
Yeah,
Ooh. Playing Kel. 16, 17, 18, 19.
Work overtime?
Alright.
Scrapper, he doesn't have the attack ability, right?
No. He does not.
Alright, so we're looking at 3, hold 1, hold 2, hold 3. So 3, 4, 5, 6.
6. Okay. 1, 2. Wow, come on now. Okay,
Take
so
3.
Taking 3. So I have 11 life left.
But no, you have 11 damage on him. So now you're at 14 damage on
12,
him.
13, 14. Alright, so we'll just count that. Alright.
You're going.
Okay.
I think it's a great deck.
Okay. Draw. Draw. Okay.
Buzz to me.
Okay. So let's vaporize one of your builder's tools.
Which one?
Off of Bone Crusher. And then we'll swing.
Now this attack here brings me back to my original point when it comes to talking about heavy blue with Devastators. If you don't have anything really to change up how the attack goes with heavy blue, then you're just not really dealing enough damage, and preventing some damage just really isn't making a huge difference. My opponent still attacking for 6 here is very, very, very punishable is how I want to put it, and it's only because, like I said, without having the inverted or without having the 10 base damage, it's just not a whole lot of damage, and it's really not ever pushing forward in a gameplay. It's more of just at a standstill.
Now the question is, do I want to combine or just swing little guys? Make way for Prince Ali.
Again, I was talking here about transforming myself into the big boy Devastator himself, but I'm really not in any rush to, so therefore I really shouldn't have to. My opponent only gets 1 attack per turn, and I still have 3 characters out, so even if he manages to KO a character every turn, I still have 3 turns, or essentially 2 turns, to be able to combine, and I know that really that I'm going to have a bunch of health. Now I do end up going with it here, and it's because I pretty much know that I have a really strong board state, and I'm going to be able to deal just enough damage and hopefully race my opponent here. The benefit with me combining here is that I do have less damage on my characters, so when I do go to combine, I have more health.
9. He heals for the tower counters on him?
Yeah.
Right, so if I have 19 and I minus 10, I'm at 9.
Oh. Right. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Math. What? Okay. Alright. That's not right.
That's definitely not right. Alright, we get to repair 10. I bowl 2 and have 10 attack. Let's go 14 attack. Worse. Raw. So that's 10, 14, 16. Woo.
Alright, so 16, 15, 14, 13, 12.
Wow.
We almost had a play mistake there, and I did not trigger the bold, but then I did remember to. Now, technically, we should have, I guess, moved on at that point from it. It is a ability that does say that you do have bold 2, which does make you flip the 2, and if you can remember, even in a situation like that, where you have the ability to make up for it because you did forget it before all of the damage was allocated and you moved on, it's definitely good to go back and to remember to add those bold 2, but it's even better to just not forget it.
Trigger.
Because there's only a single creature in this deck that's not like. Oh, wait, it's just the. It's just I wouldn't know that because I haven't got there.
Jesus Christ.
The grip, like your hand is so stacked.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous.
That is kind of scary.
Where's a brainstorm when you need it?
Right?
Alright, well, despite my hand being so stacked, I'm pretty sure I lost this one. So, 1, 2,
Yeah, there's a lot of damage you gotta get through.
3. That's just the way I have this set up. It's
Yeah, as I was saying, getting to 10 on the towers, super important.
Here's the present me agreeing with the past me is that definitely those 10 are very important. Again, you can definitely combine before 10 if you have the ability to get to 10 with like the stuff in your hand, such again as enigmas and stuff like that. But if you don't have it, it is definitely very beneficial to try to get to that 10. Now my opponent does play the inverted here, which is really nice. Gonna be able to allow him to get a lot of damage back into me. And it's this point we're definitely coming down to a race where I think unfortunately for him, as I just have so low a health, that I think the race favors myself.
X is where I get all my double blues in, and it's just like, that's backwards.
Right. And we'll do best out of 3 with these lists because I want to practice them a little more.
2, 1.
The only reason,
Oh, schnappy. Well, you know I'm not flipping any blues. Not mine flipping any oranges either.
Yeah,
So you're at 6, 7, 8. You just have to play 3 more. Come on, double blues, right?
that's what I'm hoping. I don't think so. That's what I'm hoping.
You're good.
1. Hey, look.
Hey,
and
call
then 2.
One more.
And 1 more. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
12, 11, 10. Take it to 19. Look at that damage.
Nothing else, I made it hurt.
Oh, that's one thing that he does do is he hurts.
It makes it hurt.
Alright, you have what? 4?
29, 33, 1 through 2, 3. Yeah, I mean, you've got it. Just on.
I'm not really trying to do insult to injury here, but I wanted to see how much I could possibly do, so let's see that final number.
Okay, so we got 10, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
Okay, I'm good.
22.
Now, it was a pretty fun match, and it just really allows me to see what my opponent does with a heavy blue list, to see if there's any viability in that, if there's any little trick cards or any really cool intricacies that I didn't happen to see, and it turns out that I'm still just not a huge fan of the heavy blue. Now, you guys saw there with the heavy orange list, is that thing can pump out an insane amount of damage, both early game and when it comes to late game, plus being a 6 wide is really powerful. It's also one of the things that the bug lists have had for a really long time. Now, obviously, their stat lines are very different, but being wider than your opponent as far as your characters when it comes to attacking is always a benefit as well. Now, I am going to be playing this at my event tonight, so we're going to see how well this goes, and I'm going to be able to give you guys that gameplay up against some other matches out there. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.